welcome to my channel. Here we are doing the monthly readings for all zodiac signs. This is going to be for Aquarius, Moon, Sun, and Rising, and Ascendant as well. As I am going to, before we proceed with your tarot cards, I am going to be giving you guys a quick rundown of what you can expect for the coming 2.5 years, as we have a major planet alignment happening at the present time. And Saturn is going into Capricorn, and Capricorn is its ruling sign. So what does this mean? How will this affect your sign? And how will it affect the house that it lands on? For you guys, for you Aquarius, the past 3 years, Saturn was in your house, which is Aquarius house. So what does this mean? The 11th house rules all to do with friendships and community. So for some of you guys may have experienced the past 3 years that you started detaching yourself from friends, from colleagues, from people that just were not sincere, okay? And you may continue to feel this for the next coming 3 or 2.5 years, I should say, as you're going into your 12th house. So, or Saturn is going into your 12th house. So again, like I said, the coming years, the coming 3 years, you guys might have experienced this. It is in your traditional house, as the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius. So again, like I said, you might have experienced a lot of almost losing of friends, but in a positive way, because only the loyal ones remain. Only those you genuinely care or you genuinely have interest in, or there is, commonalities in regards to that. Those are the only ones that remain. The fair weather friends are quickly going out of your life, as Saturn is a very traditional sign. Saturn is also known as the planet of karma. So people that have done you dirty, people that have mistreated you or taken your friendship or your kindness for granted, you might have noticed it play out in the sense of, again, people or friends that you thought were genuine. You might have caught them speaking ill about you, or someone else that you trust may have confided in you in reference to what they were speaking about you. All of this usually happens in the 11th house going into the 12th house, as the 12th house is all about solitude. So again, like I said, you might have already started experiencing this, Aquarius. Mercury is going retrograde in your 11th house. This usually is to revise. It usually represents delays in regards to paperwork, in regards to anything to do with legalities, court papers, all of that. It's a process. Saturn is, going into your 12th house. So again, it kind of releases that overbearing type of energy. Nonetheless, Mercury will be retrograde. So there's a lot of revising of paperwork and stuff like that. But it's for a higher purpose, as it is approaching your grand finale. What does this mean? It usually represents lovers from the past coming out and reaching out to you. Now, I do not suggest for you guys to pretty much place your bets on those lovers that come back, as it usually represents, did you learn your lessons? Did you learn what they taught you, whether it was that they walked away, whether it was that they gave up? Remember, Saturn is a very traditional sign. And with Saturn, it's all about, you need to be loyal. You need to be honest. Because if you're not, I will put you in a position where I will humble your ass. Because that's what Saturn does. So again, past lovers coming back into your life, only for reevaluation, reexamining, not so much them, but what you learned when they came into your life, or what lessons they taught you, okay? This can also represent friends from the past, friends that perhaps moved countries, moved cities, moved far away from where you guys grew up. Almost like a reconnection. And this is a positive thing, as usually, life happens. So again, that's definitely a blessing, especially if it was a genuine friendship. Let's see, what else? So yeah, again, like I said, you guys might have already started experiencing a disconnect in regards to the social scene. Aquarius is all about being in harmony, or trying to be in harmony with friends, as friendships are very important for Aquarian people. Saturn is a planet of structure and responsibility. We eliminate the unrealistic goals, okay, in the 11th house. And this is what has been happening already. So whatever, goals you had, whatever it was that you were trying to achieve or maintain, whether it was a perfect lover, whether it was the perfect job, whatever, it almost shook you in a sense of positiveness, because it grounds you. It brings you down to reality, and you have to re-examine your goals, re-examine what it is that you desire. Are you asking for too much? Are you, if you're asking for that high paying job, do you have the education? Do you have the knowledge? Do you have, it's almost like, again, like I said, there's a shift that's happening and has been happening in your 11th house for the past 3 years. Now, moving forward, going into your 12th house, Saturn is going into your 12th house. And remember, Capricorn is its ruling sign, and that's where it's going to be aligning with. So a lot of manifestations start to happen, and this is a definite positive thing. Goals, if you've been working really hard towards goals in reference to business and finances, by January, you start experiencing this as Saturn goes into your 12th house. Some income is gained as well. So again, income increase if you've been working really hard, higher responsibilities. Always know that Saturn doesn't do anything easy, okay? Nothing comes easy to Saturn. So if you start to get, income increase or opportunities for a higher ranking position, more responsibility, know that it's going to come with more responsibility, but the pay rate is going to go up. Okay, you're going to be able, again, like I said, if you've been working really hard, you start to see the fruits of your labor for the coming 2 months. So it'd be December and January, but this is where you start noticing the shift. Now, this whole process is a 2.5-year process for you guys. So of course, as time goes on, the effect gets amplified and gets stronger. Okay, let's see what else. So yeah, Saturn in your 12th house. This will bring a lot of maturing in regards to childhood traumas, in regards to childhood behaviors even. It's almost like we become, go within ourselves and try to, when you do things subconsciously, an example, if you're a smoker and you smoke, you don't really think about it, you just smoke, right? Saturn going into your 12th house, it's going to give you an awakening of why do you do it? Is it because it suppresses your anxiousness? Is it because you were brought or raised, surrounded by a father figure that perhaps was a smoker? You go deeper into the understanding of your nature, and this is in a positive sense. Now, for those of you guys that did not have a very positive childhood, traumas from the past may arise in the 12th house. And the reason for this, again, is not to hurt you, but it's to heal you, to help you understand or get a better understanding of all this time you've been suppressing it, but there's an underlining. It was supposed to teach you something, So again, Saturn does that when it enters your 12th house. It's almost to re-examine why we do the things we do, whether it's fears, whether it's traumas, anything that's triggering, as an example, relationships. You re-examine the psychological behaviors behind it. The course of actions. Do you mistrust people when you're in a relationship? Is that the reason why you have difficulties committing to a person? Is it because you actually, not because you're so into wanting freedom, but does it go deeper than that? Does it represent the fact of, what you really fear is not commitment, but feeling, that you're going to be suppressed, or that they're going to try to change your identity? These are things that in the 12th house start to manifest throughout this whole process. And it's only to eliminate those self-behaviors, those people that are dragging you down, even belief systems that have, affected you greatly. All of this, it's almost the shedding of the Aquarius as it goes into your 12th house. 12th house is ruled by Pisces. So it's all about going within yourself and understanding why you do the things you do. Again, like I said, in relationships, it's almost like confronting the demons, whether it's all this time you've been thinking that you fear commitment, and in reality you find out that perhaps you fear being betrayed. Perhaps you perhaps you fear that You may lose control of who you are. Again, like I said, your identity. All of these things start to come about and play out throughout the whole process of 2.5 years. So we're going 2017, it starts in December. It's going to go all the way to 2020. So this is a very long process, and it's going to affect you on a deeper level and on a psychological level as well, as the 12th house is all about spirituality. It's all about solitude, and it's all about self-reflection. That's ultimately Saturn, how Saturn is going to play out for you guys for the coming 2 years. So again, for a lot of you guys will experience in this process isolation. Isolation is something that may be needed only for self-healing. A lot of the times when Saturn is in the 12th house, it usually represents people usually end up walking away from a relationship or from anything to do with romance. Now, if you are married, I don't mean this in the sense of your marriage is going to dissolve, but Saturn will test the loyalty of your partner. Can your partner understand and comprehend that you're going through a psychological transformation, that you're going into a deeper understanding of your nature? Are they willing to give you the isolation that you need when you need it? Are they going to be compassionate and understanding of knowing this process? And if they're not, and they trigger you and bring out the shadow side of you, which is to try to run away from the relationship because they're almost suffocating you, then that's when endings will and can happen as well, okay? So it's almost like all this process, it's detaching yourself with what no longer serves you. This may include endings. Again, like I said, unfortunately, that's how it plays out. Now, let me give you a perfect understanding for you guys to understand what may play out for the coming 2 years for you guys. Now, again, like I said, the 12th house is all about spirituality. It's all about solitude and self-reflection to understand things in a deeper level. For a lot of people, having Saturn in their 12th house, usually if you've been, an example, if you've been so against religion, in this process of these 2.5 years, you may experience that you want to have or gain knowledge in reference to a certain type of religion. Perhaps you start to study, you start to learn, you start to expand your mind. And the reason for this, it's almost an innate feeling. You're being triggered. For a lot of people, again, like I said, that are non-religious, when Saturn goes into their 12th house, it usually represents, that's when they do, either they commit themselves to a religion or a type of practice, whether it's spirituality, becoming more spiritual, whether it's tapping into the esoteric, whatever it may be, as the 12th house does represent all of that because it's ruled by Pisces. So again, as an example, the best way to describe it is Saturn actually was in my 12th house, and it recently moved from my 12th house to my first house. So the past 3 years, what happened, what major transformation happened for me on a personal level when Saturn was in my 12th house? Well, I worked for a dealership. I have been working there for quite a while, and I was making amazing income. I worked with the courts for that dealer. I was a seniors collection specialist, and that's what I did. And I did that for a while. And again, I also did my practice. I've always been doing my practice in any type of field that I was in. I always did my practice, and I always did this as a side job. So when Saturn entered, which is 3 years ago, when Saturn entered into my 12th house, it got to a point where you start to question, am I doing, like an example, my job? Am I in the right field? And it almost becomes overbearing. It becomes like you cannot take it anymore. And it got to the point where I just couldn't take my job anymore. And it was something that I'm a Capricorn, so I am naturally competitive. So that's where I thrived in that type of control and authoritative type of position. So I thrived in that. So I could understand on a deeper level, like, what's really going on? Why is it bothering me? Why is it becoming almost overbearing, almost dragging to go into work? And what happened was that spirituality becomes very important because it is the 12th house. So spirituality started becoming more and more prominent for me And it almost became, I almost felt disconnected when I would go into work. I felt like this is not right. I shouldn't be here. And then what happens? My clientele, started kind of, kind of complaining, like, you're not giving me enough time, or every time we try to get a reading, you're always busy, because I did travel a lot. So it almost became an issue till it got to the point where I had to make a choice. I had to make a decision. And this was a long time decision. It was something that I had thought about for many, many years, but I just never had the courage. So when Saturn entered my 12th house, what happened? Religion, spirituality, or my practice became very, very important, to the point where I got to a point where I said, you know what? I don't care in regards to finances. I don't care what may happen. This is what I'm passionate about. This is, it's up to me to make sure that it thrives. It's up to me to put that hard work and that extra effort, and I will succeed in no matter what I do. So I did it. I ended up leaving, something that was so solid, and decided to venture on my own. Now, the first months that I did this, I was petrified. I was scared. I was petrified. I'm a Capricorn, so income, status, all of that's very important to me. And I was petrified, but at the same time, I knew that I've always been passionate about what I do, and more than anything, I've always been passionate about helping people. And that is something that, the humbleness behind it is something that was very fulfilling to me, something I had never experienced, as previously I've always held very high positions, and it was all about power, nothing to do with humbleness. So again, when I started tapping into that, the humbleness, the deep within my soul, what really motivated me was to help people. So that's when I do the transition of letting go and releasing everything to the universe and saying, this is what I'm going for, and this is what I'm going to do. So what happened within that process? Well, I became more in solitude. I had no idea that this was going to be so time consuming. I literally work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but I love it. So it does not become a drag to me. It does not become a responsibility. Why? Because I am passionate about it. Okay. So again, being extremely busy, being extremely focused on my business and expansion, all of this, it kind of started, friends started falling off, relationships started to struggle, and only those relationships that are genuine are the ones that will withstand this. As Saturn is all about, again, like I said, loyalty. It's all about something that is promise and longevity. So again, in this process, you do become almost, very seclusive to yourself, because if I'm not working, I'm studying. If I'm not studying, I'm looking to see what I can do to do better. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm doing spellcraft, I'm doing candle magic, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. So I'm always busy. And it's not that Saturn being in your 12th house, it's not that you intentionally don't hang out with friends or don't go out or don't have fun. It's just that circumstances put you in a situation where you have to prioritize. Saturn is all about priorities. So again, responsibilities, overbearing responsibilities. So the 12th house, what does it represent when Saturn hits it? Saturn is a very old school planet. And in your 12th house, which is ruled by Pisces, Pisces is all about the esoteric. It's all about religion. It's all about belief system. It's all about the unknown, basically. So again, all of this is going to play out for you guys. I just decided to give you guys me as an example, as I recently did move from my 12th house, go into my first house. So again, for a lot of you guys may, this may resonate with you guys. It may not resonate now, but in the 2.5 years that the Saturn being in your 12th house, this is how it will play out. So I hope it makes sense. Again, this is a video that you guys may want to come back to the next 2 years, so you can make, so you guys could have a clear understanding. You guys will have an aha moment where everything is connected and everything will make perfect sense, okay? So I wish you guys the very best. That is, you know, it's not a difficult placement for Saturn to be in, but it will challenge you, and it will challenge you in a positive way as it did to me, okay? And it's up to you to use it in a very positive way, meaning the 12th house in Saturn definitely represents solitude. It definitely represents a lot of self-reflection. Now, if you don't use it in a positive way, meaning if you're not, like, if you don't connect to something very passionate and learn, because the 12th house is all about learning as well. So if you don't educate yourself, if you don't put effort into something, what may happen? Well, if you're resonating from a shadow side of Aquarius, you may become extremely depressed. So, and it's not like, again, like I said, like you do it on purpose not to be around people. It's not like that. It's that your soul's, you know, innate desire is to be alone, not in a negative way, but in a positive way, in the sense of finding peace, quiet, and harmony. That's what it's teaching you guys. So again, I hope this resonates with you guys, and it will resonate, I guarantee you, because I have such close experience with this process. So again, like I said, definitely come through in the next coming 2.5 years, and this will definitely ring true to you guys, okay? So anyways, let's get into your reading, Aquarius. Let's see what Spirit has for you guys for the month of December 2017. Let's see what Spirit has for you guys. Also, I do want to mention, for those of you guys that have experienced the loss of a relationship based off of a person double dealing or doing you dirty or just taking advantage of you, understand and know that Saturn going into Capricorn, Saturn is the karma the karma planet. So what this represents is that you will see this play out in the sense of karma is going to come back at them, and they're going to be confronted with the exact same situation that they put you in. So again, I hope they've been good to you, Aquarius. So let's see what Spirit has for you guys. All right. Your first card, you have the Knight of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, the Empress card, and the Six of Pentacles, the Ten of Wands, the Chariot card, the Nine of Wands, and the Fool card. Wow. Okay. So this is exactly the way I was explaining to you guys that Saturn is going to affect. Let me try to move this a little bit more so you guys can have better. Okay. So you have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is all about cutting with the past, cutting people that no longer serve you, and moving forward. It can also represent another forceful type of energy coming back into your life. Mercury is going retrograde, so it could represent a partner from the past. It could even represent your energy. And this is you because you are an air sign. So it could be you just cutting out people that you no longer want to deal with. Now, you do have the Eight of Pentacles. You guys have been working very hard, or you've been very focused on trying to achieve a goal, as the Knight of Pentacles is here. The promise is definitely there, as you do have the Empress and the Chariot card. So it's all about manifestations for the coming weeks. I feel that for the first week, you guys may be dealing with residue energy from November. But going into the second week of December, you guys start to see manifestations, as you do have the Empress here, and the Empress is all about abundance. It could also represent opportunities for advancement and growth. And you have the Six of Pentacles here. The Six of Pentacles is the Charity card. All that effort you've been putting up here with the Eight of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, they will be giving you an increase, or money will start to come in very quickly for you guys, as the Six of Pentacles is all about giving and receiving. You put the effort, the universe is going to return that tenfold. Now, you do have the Ten of Wands here, and the Ten of Wands could, next to the Three of Pentacles, could represent if you guys have been working with a group, or you guys have, you know, where you work at, it's a group project or something like that. It's been a bit overbearing. It could have been that you were dealing with a Capricorn, a Taurus, or a Virgo, as this is a representation of earth signs. Or it could have been that they were a little bit trying for you. I know Aquarius could be very fast thinkers, and obviously earth signs are a representation of a very slow type of energy, slow and steady, but they get it done. So what does this mean? The 3 of coins next to the 10 could talk about a project or something or people you've been working with as a group to try to achieve something, and they may have stressed the hell out of you. They may almost, I'm getting this feeling like, you know, when people are just annoying you because they're not quick enough or quick as you would want them to be. And I feel that because of this, it could have brought about you feeling like, oh my God, you know, they're just not picking up, they're not getting it, or whatever it may be. Or it could have been that this is how you felt. It could have been a supervisor, someone that was supervising a project that was bringing too much stress to you or too much demands from you. Now, for some of you guys, if you guys are in fact dealing with an earth sign, which was a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, and you guys have been having a, you know, difficult time at the present time, it could have been that they're working too hard, or it could be that you were working too hard, Aquarius, and you were not giving enough time or effort to this relationship. I feel that there is almost a feeling of wanting to give up, as the 9 of Wands is here. But at the center, it's a give and take. So again, if this was you that was working extra hard and your partner was just, you know, not up for it, and they were complaining, or a lot of arguments based on the fact that you weren't giving them enough attention, know and understand that Saturn going into Capricorn is going to test that relationship. And it may have already started to test it, as you do have the 9 of Wands. Someone's wanting to walk away because it's not working out. Now, you do have the Chariot here. And again, I feel that this is more so a reading for business and finances, as there is an increase and there is an offer coming through with the Chariot here. So if you guys have been working really, really hard towards a project, again, like I said, if you run your own business and you've been putting long hours, extra effort, you're gonna start to see this manifestation around the 3rd week of December, all the way to January, February, and thereon, as you do have new beginnings here. You have the Fool card, and the Fool card is, again, you are in the 12th house. So all the work that you put into, all the efforts that you put into, whether it's relationships, whether it's your business and your finances, all this effort that you put into moving from the 12, meaning the next 2.5 years, the effort you've been putting, you're going to start to reap the benefits of that. But also you're preparing to go for Saturn to go into your 1st house. So the 1st house is all about your identity. It's all about, you know, being what's the word I'm looking for? It's all about shining, you know what I mean? So again, if you have been feeling like you've been overburdened at work, or they just have not noticed your efforts, or how hard you work, or how many hours you put into your labor, all of this starts to manifest in the 3rd week of December, going all the way to February. Again, like I said, this is energy that is definitely talking about abundance and promise for abundance and growth. For some of you guys, you may be dealing with a Cancer. And again, like I said, if you are currently dealing with a new Cancer, there's opportunity for advancement and growth with this Fool card. Now, do please keep in mind, as you do have the 3 of Pentacles, this is a general reading. It's not particularly a love reading, but I do want to mention, in regards to love and romance, when the 3 of Pentacles comes out, it usually represents that you're unhappy in a relationship, or your partner is unhappy in the relationship. But I do see a Cancer down here. So it could be that you're currently with a partner that maybe perhaps hasn't been working out, but you're already talking to someone else. Know and understand that Saturn going into your 12th house is definitely going to test your relationship, or how deep and sturdy your relationship is. If it doesn't serve, understand and know that Saturn is the karma card. So be very mindful about double dealing. If this is not working out, walk away from this before you start this new beginning, okay? I hope that makes perfect sense for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and we will see each other in the middle of the month.